Hello, my name is Chelsea Cooper and I am a school nutrition program specialist in the California Department of Education, which I will refer to as the CDE, Nutrition Services Division. I'm going to provide you with some basic information on the Community Eligibility Provision, also known as the CEP. The CEP is a 4-year reimbursement option for eligible high-poverty local educational agencies, referred to as LEAs, and schools, and became available beginning in school year 2014-15 as a result of the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. It is a provision, like Provision 1, Provision 2, and Provision 3, that makes it easier for schools with a high percentage of needy students to provide 2 meals a day to all students at no charge. An LEA can decide if they want schools to participate individually in the CEP, if they want to group some schools together in order to meet eligibility, or if they want the entire LEA to participate. While on the CEP, schools serve breakfast and lunch at no cost to all students. The reason why LEAs are so interested in the CEP is because of the enormous benefits that this provision brings them. While on CEP, you will never collect a meal application or perform verification processing activities. This reduces district administrative costs related to collecting and processing applications, completing the verification process, and tracking students based on meal eligibility status. Since all students receive breakfast and lunch at no cost, overt identification and unpaid meal charges are eliminated. Schools on CEP have also reported increased revenue. These schools have guaranteed reimbursement percentages that will never go below the percentage they established in their first year, and the flexibility to further increase revenue as additional needy students are identified during the 4-year cycle. Lastly, and most importantly, students who have access to meals and nutrition tend to perform better academically, have better health, and maintain better school attendance. To qualify to participate in the CEP, schools must have an identified student percentage of at least 40% based on enrollment as of April 1st of the school year prior to implementing the CEP. I will explain how to determine your ISP on the next slide. When determining your site's ISP, you cannot round up. For example, a percentage of 39.98% does not meet the threshold and would not qualify for the CEP. Schools must agree to serve breakfast and lunch at no cost to all students. Lastly, the LEA must have a history of administering the National School Lunch Program or the School Breakfast Program in compliance with the program regulations. The ISP is determined by dividing the number of directly certified students and those students who are certified as foster, homeless, migrant, runaway, or participating in the Head Start programs by total number of enrolled students. These students must be listed on either a California Longitudinal Pupil Achievement Data System, also known as CalPADS, or a local county list. You may not use meal applications to determine your ISP. This data must be reflective of April 1st of the year prior to implementing the CEP. You may include all students directly certified throughout the school year up to April 1st. So if a student was listed on your October list, but for some reason does not show up on your March list, you may still count that student towards your ISP as long as that student is still enrolled on April 1st. You may also use Medi-Cal-free students that appear on your CalPADS list. Please note you may not use Medi-Cal reduced students, only Medi-Cal-free, because the ISP is based on how many students are certified as free. Districts have the option to implement CEP at a single site, a group of sites, or district-wide. If you're interested in implementing CEP at a single site, you would take all of your directly certified students from that individual site and divide by the total enrollment of that site. If you're interested in grouping, let's say, 3 sites together, you would take all of the directly certified students from those 3 sites and divide by the total enrollment of all 3 sites to determine your group ISP. When grouping schools together, You may include schools with ISPs lower than 40% as long as the group ISP is a minimum of 40%. You may not round up when calculating the ISP. When participating in CEP, reimbursement for meals served is based on the ISP times the multiplier, which is currently set at 1.6. The multiplier is a factor set by the USDA. Schools electing the CEP are guaranteed to maintain the same multiplier for the full 4-year cycle. The ISP multiplied by the multiplier equals the percentage of meals served to be claimed at the free reimbursement rate. The remaining percentage of meals are claimed at the paid rate. No meals are claimed at the reduced price rate. Let us look at how the ISP and the multiplier are used in claiming meals served. Assume a school had a 50% ISP as of April 1st and is implementing the CEP for the following school year. The multiplier established by the USDA for schools implementing the CEP is currently 1.6. Multiply the ISP by the multiplier. So 50 times 1.6 equals 80% of meals served will be reimbursed at the free rate. The remaining 20% of the meals served will be reimbursed at the paid rate. Remember, no meals are ever claimed at the reduced price rate when on CEP. Schools or a group of schools with an ISP of 62.5% or higher will be eligible for reimbursement at the free meal rate for all meals served when using a 1.6 multiplier. That's because 62.5% times 1.6 equals 100, so 100% of meals served will be claimed at the free rate. The free meal claiming percentage is capped at 100% regardless of how high the ISP may be. One of the concerns that schools have when implementing the CEP is that since they are no longer collecting meal applications, they will not have the data they need for the Local Control Funding Formula, or LCFF. Schools participating in the CEP, as with all provisions, still need to collect their students' individual socio-economic status to determine funding for the LCFF. The way we do that is through the alternate income data collection form. This form is much simpler to fill out and collects the data you need for the LCFF. Sample household income data collection forms are available for calculating the school's LCFF needs. They are posted on the CDE's LCFF Frequently Asked Questions webpage at https://www.cde.ca.gov/FG/LC/LCFFFAQ ASP pound capital P capital R capital O capital V 2 AND 3. This link is available in the Show More section below. It is important to note that processing these forms cannot be paid for with cafeteria funds, and you cannot reference the NSLP or SBP on the alternate income forms. These forms must stay completely separate from the federal meal programs. You are allowed to establish an LCFF base year. This means that you only need to collect these alternate income forms once every 4 years. The data collected in year 1 may be used for LCFF in years 2, 3, and 4 of your CEP cycle. You would only need to collect forms from new incoming students in years 2, 3, and 4. Also, you do not need to collect these forms from students who are directly certified. The ISP is guaranteed to never go below the ISP established in the first year of the CEP cycle. If the ISP increases as of April 1st of any year of the 4-year cycle, the school may apply to use the higher ISP to calculate reimbursement claims for the following school years. Receiving the higher ISP for any year will not be automatic. LEAs will need to apply for the higher ISP each year or apply for a new Year 1 to lock in that higher ISP for the next 4 years. As you know, Medi-Cal is now included on your CalPADS Direct Certification list. As I mentioned earlier, you may use students who appear as Medi-Cal free on your CalPADS list to count towards your ISP. You may not use students who are listed as Medi-Cal reduced. LEAs or schools must agree to cover the difference between serving meals at no charge to all students and the federal meal reimbursement. The use of non-federal funds is necessary only if the total amount of federal reimbursement through the CEP does not cover the costs of serving all students meals at no cost. Some examples of non-federal funding sources are profits from a la carte sales, in-kind contribution funds from outside sources such as volunteer services or a cash donation. If your district is interested in applying for CEP, set a reminder to pull your direct certification and total enrollment lists on April 1st. If April 1st falls on a weekend, you will want to gather this data on the following Monday. Remember that your ISP includes the list for homeless, foster, migrant, runaway, and Head Start. The deadline to apply for CEP is June 30th unless further noted by listserv. For more information on the CEP, please visit the CDE's CEP webpage at https://www.cde.ca.gov/LS/CEP_ASP. This link is also available in the Show More section below. There are 2 forms that you need to complete in order to apply for the CEP. Forms SNP 19 and SNP 55. These forms are located in the CNIPS Download Forms section. You can access CNIPS at https://www.cnips.ca.gov. This link is also available in the Show More section below. For more information, please contact your SNP County Analyst. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for your time. The slide contains information on professional standards crediting.